video. I'm Dave Mason, president of ASC, and today I'm going to talk about an important topic, and that is what to expect when you come on board as a new mechanical fabricator or welder at our company. Often when welders start or fabricators start, there's a lack of expectation. They really don't know what they're going to be getting into, what they're going to be working on, the type of work they're going to be doing, and this video is designed to give you a little bit of information as to what to expect on your first day, in your first week, in your first 90-day trial period, and also for your first year. That way you know what you're going to be working on, the type of environment you're going to work in, and we can set the right expectation for you. So to start off, I'm going to introduce Luis Rojas, who's our production manager for mechanical at ASC. Here's Luis.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. So anyway, one of the things that happens when we bring new employees in ASC is they typically come in and they think they're going to be welding and fabricating, but they don't really understand all the aspects of working at ASC. We're a autoclave and oven manufacturer, and so we basically build small and big pieces of equipment, and that involves a lot more than simply welding. So typically fabricators coming in are going to be given a lot of other tasks related to building the autoclave equipment, and we want to kind of let people know what the expectation is. So Luis, let's talk a little bit about the first day. What's the applicant going to do? He's going to walk in, he or she will walk in, and I think the first day is kind of made up with a lot of kind of safety training and that type of thing, right?
That's true. Actually, the new hire will spend about a week in doing safety training.
Okay.
But on the very first day, they'll get to have lunch with me.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about where they came from, and some of their hobbies and fun things that they like to do, just to kind of get to know each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And I imagine the safety training is a little bit boring, right?
It probably can be a little bit overwhelming with a lot of information, but very important stuff.
And we're obviously, you're not going to be working immediately. You're going to be spending some time in a conference room, looking over training material. You're going to be being talked to by one of our trainers, and kind of give the overview of the different things that you're going to be working with and on, and to make sure that you're going to do it safely. So, the first week is probably not a lot of fabricating and not a lot of welding, right?
That's right, Dave.
Okay. And then after the first week, after you've gone through all the training and you're a little bored at this point, we're going to then give you a small job, which is more of a training job. And what this is basically a sample piece of assembly that will train you on how our systems work, how we pull from inventory, how you cut material, setting up your workplace, filling out what we call a job hazard analysis, and basically go through all those different steps, right?
That's true. That's correct.
Yeah.
So there also there is a trainer, and you'll spend a lot of time with him in the beginning, and he'll teach you these processes that Dave's talking about, how to pull material, fill out a pull ticket, have your welds inspected, and those types of things. So we definitely going to spend lots of quality time with the new hire.
Okay. And at that time they'll be working on, they'll be cutting material. They'll learn how to use our different bandsaws and cutting equipment. You're going to learn about our inspection process, which is you're going to fit up all the parts and pieces, tack them all together, and then you're going to call for one of our inspectors to come over and verify that you've done that correctly. Once you get the thumbs up, you will fully weld out that assembly. I imagine you also paint at the end?
We do. Most everything gets painted here at ASC, so that's part of the build process. Once it's inspected and approved for a final, then the next step would be to clean, primer, and paint the product.
Okay, and if I'm a welder and I'm coming in and I know nothing about painting, am I going to learn something?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
We're going to have the trainer go through the steps.
Okay.
We have documentation on the painting process and approvals, and those forms will guide you to a successful paint job.
Okay. Yeah, so as a new fabricator coming in, you're going to come here with a skill. Typically, you're going to either come in at an entry level, coming from one of the weld schools around the area, or you may have 2, 3, 4 years of experience doing other types of welding. Maybe you're working at a company which is building buses or bus frames, or maybe gates, or maybe building sets for the movie industry. All that's great knowledge and great skill, but you have to expect that when you come in, you really are not going to know anything about the autoclave and that equipment. So there is a pretty long learning process that you're going to go through. It's probably 1 or 2 years where you develop all the skills and the knowledge on how to build this. You're going to kind of go step by step along the way. We mentioned painting. There are things that are not related to your current training in terms of, if you're a welder, you like to either burn rod or if you're a MIG welder or a flux core welder, you like to be kind of melting metal. Here, I would say don't expect ever to be 100% welding. That's not going to happen. We build equipment, and to build equipment, you're going to be getting material, cutting material, doing welding steel together, but you're also going to be doing things like plumbing. We have a lot of plumbing on the autoclave. You're going to be bending tubing, which is a skill that's important. We're also going to be asking you to paint. So everything that you're building, you're going to be the painter. We don't have dedicated painters here because we have lots of fabrications going on, and then we have one of the most unlike jobs here at ASC is insulating, because basically every autoclave on the inside has a layer of insulation, which is a little bit like fiberglass, and all mechanics and mechanical fabricators are responsible to insulate their own equipment when they're building it. What can we say about insulation?
Well, it's probably one of the least favorite tasks that fabricators like to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you have to get suited up in a Tyvek suit, and you have to insulate. Now, depending on the size of autoclave, a small autoclave might take 2 or 3 days to insulate, right?
Right.
Big autoclaves can take
about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
Sometimes more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are cases where mechanics are happy to be building assemblies and welding and doing all this, and all of a sudden they get put on insulation duty, and unfortunately that's the nature of building autoclaves. Now we want to set the correct expectation on this. There are jobs like painting and insulation that you will be doing, and depending on the type of project that you're put on and the size of the equipment, you might end up putting 10 to 15% of your time on painting and insulation together. So what that means is in a given month you may put in, if you're working 20 days, you might be putting in 3 days of insulating and painting. So we don't want people to come in and kind of expect that they're not going to be given these tasks. What we're asking, we have really strong team values. We're asking for everyone to be positive and say, well, I'm on insulation duty. That's what we're going to do. In the same way, we have a very clean work environment here. We're big on what's called FOD control, which is basically foreign object debris. And so we're going to ask everyone to always take part in cleanup, and we have a clean as you go philosophy. Let's talk a little bit about FOD control. What do we do, and what it means in terms of the day-to-day and hour-by-hour activities?
Well, as Dave mentioned, clean as you go is our primary concept for FOD control. Obviously, you're going to be making a mess when you're working, and the idea is to clean up periodically so that mess doesn't pile up and become a large mess. So if everyone does their part in FOD control, that helps us keep our shop clean.
Right, and customers walk into our shop who've been to other shops and other fabrication facilities, and they're amazed at how clean the floors are, how clean and organized everything is. We do a lot of activities which are called 5S, where we mark areas on the floor for specific purposes of where we put things. So we try to keep an organized facility, even though it's a custom. I mean, we build lots of different types of equipment. It's not an assembly line per se, but it is a very organized system. So all the mechanics, all the electricians, all the welders that work here are responsible for maintaining this environment, which is a clean and safe environment. Another important topic to discuss is travel. ASC builds these autoclaves, and then they get shipped to the customer's facilities, which could be anywhere in the world. Usually they're in the United States, but we are constantly shipping out outside of the United States as well. And then part of the mechanic's duty, once they get sufficiently trained on the equipment, is a team of mechanics and a team of electricians go out and install the equipment. And these are installation teams. And so in a given, once you're up to speed, that might take 6 months or a year, you're going to definitely be expected to put in some travel time. And travel time could be a week out, a week back, or a week out and then back at ASC. Or if you're on a very large autoclave, it could be an installation effort of, let's say, 4 to 5 weeks at a time. Now, a lot of people love travel, and they love getting out there and meeting new people and sightseeing and that type of thing. Whereas other people are a little bit less happy about travel. Ultimately, we don't really have opportunities for people who never want to travel. So there are certainly jobs out there which don't involve travel. This ain't one of them. Okay. But we try to make it as sort of comfortable for everyone. Everyone gets their own hotel rooms. They get a pretty high subsistence every day, which is basically you could use it for meals. What's a subsistence rate? Something like 40.
In the United States, it's about $45.
$45 an hour, or $45, not an hour.
A day.
Yeah, a day. And these teams enjoy working with each other out there. They get done and then spend weekends sightseeing. If you're overseas, that's a lot of fun. You get to see a lot of things that you typically wouldn't see, and so it's a great experience, and a lot of people love it, and a lot of people like it, and very few people don't like it at all, and they're probably not working here. So
right. Okay. That's about it.
So working at ASC is also a fun experience because we do a lot of things after work, and we have a lot of events and a lot of things going on. Louis, what kind of events do we have for the workers and the employees?
Well, I think pretty much every month workers get invited to events such as baseball games, soccer games, deep sea fishing once a year, which I really enjoy. We have sporting teams. We have a basketball team, and we've had a softball team, which plays every Friday night.
And a soccer team.
And a soccer team, which won first place.
Which won first place, and that's great.
So we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and those events were, typically we buy a bulk of tickets. We're gonna subsidize usually 50% of the cost. Depends on the size. So basically, you're able to take in a Kings game, take in a Dodger game,
right,
or I guess we're also down at the LA Football Club now. So what we're trying to do is kind of build those after work experiences for employees, and we also do bowling twice a year, which is a huge amount of fun. A lot of kids show up. We do a lot of holiday things. We have a big Easter celebration for kids, which is a great time.
We have a Halloween party.
And Louis dresses up.
Yeah.
And he looks scarier than he does here. So, and that's a lot of fun. We have a big costume event there.
Big costume contest.
Yeah. And actually, if you go to our YouTube site, which go to YouTube and type in ASC Process Systems, there's a whole section of all the videos of those events. All the parties we have. We have a lot of we like to enjoy ourselves after work. Let's just say.
Sure.
The other thing is obviously we're a good steward of the community. We try to take part in certain charity events. We do a cancer walk for kids every year in our local area here in Santa Clarita. We just got done with a hydrocephalus walk in honor of one of our employees. So we try to give back within the local community. And yeah, as Lewis said, it's usually every month there's something going on.
Something going on, yeah.
And during the day we have free pizza days. We have in and out truck or the Habit truck come by.
Ice cream days.
Ice cream days. So,
yeah.
God, does anyone work here? So we're big on fitness too. What are the kind of things we do for fitness, I guess?
Well, we have a group of people who have started to walk around the building, do about 2 or 3 laps during our first morning break. So people are trying to get healthy. I think that's wonderful.
Yep.
And we also have a fitness center up the street in another building where employees can go and work out anytime during the day, as long as they punch out and then punch back in when they're done.
Yeah, and that's a ASC Fitness Center. It has what type of equipment?
It has the elliptical, it has some bicycles, it has a universal machine.
Free weights.
Free weights,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. And it's actually right next to the other amenity at ASC, which is a game room. We've got a couple of pool tables, ping pong, foosball, and that's a good place to kind of chill out after work if you want. We often have little parties during the week there.
Mm-hmm.
Might be someone's birthday or new employees come in. We're gonna treat them up at the game room. So it's a lot of fun. We're trying to bring a lot of different aspects of sort of those large companies to a smaller company like ASC. So last but not least, a very important part of working ASC is what we call ASC team values. ASC is a kind of company that really values not only skill and performance, but also those intangible qualities of a person that defines what kind of makes them great people. And we have a series of 7 team values that we're really championing within our company, and we actually have a poster. Here's the poster here, handed to us by our videographer. This is actually saying how to be successful at ASC team values. We have 7 team values. We're going to talk a little bit about them, why they're important, what they mean, and the first one is safety. Next one's positive attitude, leadership, eager to learn, team player, efficiency, and quality work. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the top one, safety.
Yeah, well, safety says that you want to be concerned about the safety of yourself and the safety of your coworkers.
Okay, yeah, and obviously safety is an important thing with most manufacturing companies. People come to ASC and they recognize that we're actually a very safe organization. Lots of safety procedures, a lot of involved procedures on how to work without injury. And the important thing about team values is when you come to work here, you really have to be concerned about your own safety, but also the safety of people working around you. So we're, when you see something that doesn't look right or that someone's doing improperly, we want the kind of person working here who's going to walk over to their buddy and say, hey, there's a safer way to do that. So that's one of our core team values. The next one is positive attitude, and what this says is I'm a happy person who wants to work in a positive environment. And really what we're saying there is that we want people who are generally positive, have a positive outlook in life. There's a whole gamut of different people out there, and they can be from the range of being grouchy and grumpy to very positive and happy. We're kind of looking for the more positive side here, because when you're working with positive people, you just enjoy life a little bit better, and positive people tend to look at the positive aspects of problems rather than negative, and so that's a very important one. Generally speaking, if a person comes to work here and they're one that is more grouchy than happy, they're not going to last very long, because those values are going to come through in terms of their reviews and their movement within the company. So the next one is leadership. I want to make ASC a better company and always try to be a positive influence on others. Talk about leadership. What does leadership mean?
Well, leadership means leading by example, doing the right thing, taking responsibility, wanting to make ASC a better company by leading by example.
Okay. So leaders are the ones who aren't kind of looking at, they're the ones to kind of stand out front and try to take charge of what they're doing. Lead by example is a great idea. I mean, when you're showing and walking the walk and what you're talking, then you're going to be a leader and you're going to move up in an organization. The next one is eager to learn. I want to continue to learn new things and become better at my job. That's an important one. That basically is saying, hey, if you're coming to ASC, be open to change, be open to learning new things. There's a ton of stuff you're going to learn here that you would not have learned elsewhere. We have a little sign now, and we'll stop. But anyway, you'll learn lots of new things, and we don't want people who are sort of adverse to learning, okay? Because when you're not open to learning, you're not open to new things, and you're kind of rigid in your stance, you're also not going to do well here, okay? We want really excited people who say, hey, I want to take on a lot of new things, and so that's an important one for us. Louis, let's talk about team player. I lend a hand if someone needs it, and I don't say things.
Yeah,
it's not my job.
We want workers who are helpful and happy and want to help others when they're struggling or when they see they need. And we don't want employees who say things like, well, that's not my job.
Yeah, and that's a big thing that you'll see in other companies is there's a tendency to separate employees in terms of these very rigid tasks. So one employee does one task, another does another, and when one employee needs help, there's often this sort of thing that says, well, that's not my job. Why should I do that? Whether it's, and it could be the simplest of things. You're walking by a pile of dirt or something on the ground, and instead of walking over it because you didn't put it there, you'll bend down, pick it up, and throw it away, and not feel like you've been aggrieved or injured because of that, right?
Right.
It won't be like, well, I didn't make the mess. Why should I pick it up? So most people here understand that to be a team player and that kind of thing, you're gonna be the one to help out in those areas. Efficiency. What does efficiency mean, and what does it not mean?
Well, efficiency means that we want to get our work done in the expected time frames.
Okay.
We have assemblies that get built. We have estimates that need to be met, and so we want employees who are going to work diligently to being efficient and getting their work done on time.
Okay, and what things cause employees to not get done on time sometimes?
Well, some things like socializing too much or not following procedure may cause rework.
Okay.
Things like that will slow us down.
Yeah, I mean, we're not super rigid on not that work and work really fast and rush things. We never ask people to rush because that can create injury and safety issues. But we also are not real interested in someone who comes to work and spends half their time talking to their buddy and the other half of the time working.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to be building a autoclave like this by spending 50% of your time not working, right?
Right.
So the next one, quality. That's a huge thing, right? We're building equipment in the United States. Woo, USA. No.
Yeah.
And we want people who care about the quality of their work, but also the overall quality of the equipment and what their buddies are doing too. Because when everyone's looking out for everyone's quality, it's going to work out. So what do you have to say about quality and how that impacts what we build?
Well, again, we want our employees to be very proud of what they're making, and ASC is very proud of their product. We put out a really nice product, and so the quality product starts from the employee, from the worker. If he has pride in what he's doing, ASC is going to have a nice product.
Right, and as an autoclave supplier in the United States, we believe we build the best product on the planet, and certainly in the United States. So you're working for the kind of the Rolls Royce or the Mercedes of autoclaves when you come to work at ASC, we're proud of that, and we're going to hold that up as one of our top team values, and we want everyone to really care about what they're doing and not be like, well, this is good enough, right? To us, good enough is not good enough, and
Right.
it really needs to show kind of the best of what you can do and what ASC can deliver. And so those are the 17 values. Believe it or not, I went through all 7. Lewis helped out. How important are team values to us? Well, every employee at the end of the year gets reviewed, and you'll get graded on how well you work, and how well you weld, and all the other things. But believe it or not, 50% of that grade is this.
Team values.
Okay, which has nothing to do with welding, has nothing to do with fabrication. So 50% of every employee in this company, 50% of their reviews are around how well they deal with these 17 values. Okay, so that's how important it is to us, and we've managed to create an excellent team because of that. So we're real proud of what we built here, and we're really excited for more people to come on board. We have a lot of openings. We're always hiring, so hopefully you found this video helpful in terms of kind of giving you information that you need to evaluate whether you want to work here and that you'll play a part. If you have any questions, feel free to call in, talk to Lewis if you want, talk to the HR manager, Kim Barnes, or Teresa in HR. They'll be happy to talk about any of the questions that you have. And once you come in and interview, if everything works out, hopefully you'll be one of our new ASC employees. Okay, so thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Take care.